What's going on, guys? Jeff back to another video review. Well, today we're going to be doing a review of Masters of the Universe Revelations He-Man. It's a pretty controversial series from Netflix. I don't know where you stand on it, but I will tell you that the figures look pretty cool, and I enjoy this interpretation of them. So we'll go back to the shop and do a nice review of our He-Man for the Masters of the Universe Revelations line. For those of you either living under a rock or in Hollow Earth, Masters of the Universe is basically a sword and sorcery themed world of imagination and awesomeness created by Mattel in the early 80s. It was also one of Mattel's most successful toy lines outside of Barbie. Now, the 80s were a great time for boys' toys. It was a simpler time when people weren't colossal and oversensitive wussies. I grew up on the first iteration of Masters of the Universe, which contributed, along with G.I. Joe and other toy lines, to my overwhelming toxic masculinity, which I still harbor today. Masters of the Universe played on the age-old theme of good versus evil, pitting the two central characters of He-Man, a massively swole, blonde-haired hero in a fur loincloth, against the evil, massively swole, blue-skinned, skeleton-faced Skeletor, also in a loincloth. What a great time to be a kid. Anyways, He-Man, along with Masters of the Universe, would go on to have great success through most of the 80s, then fall from the top of the mountain. It was followed up by a weird live-action movie, which at the time sucked, but has now become a pretty big cult classic. It was then reimagined in the early 90s, only to fail miserably. In the early 2000s, it was reimagined again by the Four Horsemen with pretty good success, and later on, it had major success with the Mattel He-Man Classics line, or Masters of the Universe Classics line, before it eventually faded out and was picked up by Super 7, which carried it on for a couple years, and then it kind of faded out too. But, luckily for us, self-proclaimed superfan Kevin Smith, who has, for the most part, ruined every property he's ever touched, graced us Masters of the Universe fans with his super brilliant imagination and creativity, and somehow managed to con Netflix and Mattel into letting him continue the legacy of Masters of the Universe and He-Man. All of this has resulted in He-Man Revelations. Not sure if my sarcasm's bleeding through this, but I'm not a huge fan of the first half of that series. It's my hope that the ship can be steered in the right direction on the back end. All that being said, the series has one bright spot, the action figures. And today we're going to be doing a review of the Masters of the Universe Revelations main character, Teela. I'm sorry, that's the cartoon, not the Merc. So today we're going to be breaking down this He-Man figure for the Masters of the Universe Revelations line. Alright guys, I hope you liked that intro. I meant it to be comical, so if anybody was triggered because of that, I apologize. Everything's on good fun, I promise. So here's the Masters of the Universe Revelations He-Man figure. It's actually a really cool figure. When I first saw these teased on Mattel's Instagram, or their Masters of the Universe Instagram page, I was really excited. I really like this figure. We'll start by taking a look at the back. Now, the figures that they first came out with were the ones here. We've got the He-Man, Moss Man, who by the way is not flocked, Skeletor, and Evil Lyn. There's also a massive Battle Cat that goes with this He-Man, and they've also released two special edition figures. I believe they have Skele God, which is about $10 more than this figure, and they had a Mattel shop, or Maddie's Shop exclusive Skull Glow, or Scare Glow figure. I'm sorry, Scare Glow. I don't know why I screwed that up, but yeah, Scare Glow figure, this is really cool too. I just wanted the He-Man because I'm a big fan of the figure, and I just wanted to have it for my collection because I have several different versions of the He-Man action figures. So I picked this one up. Retails for $19.99. I got mine at Walmart. Pretty cool. You can see it's got the Netflix original series tag on there, which is a nice, call out to the next Netflix series so people will watch it. Age 6+. I'd probably let my son play with this, and he's only 3. I think he's past the stage of swallowing stuff. But the coolest thing is it has 30 points of articulation. So this is a highly articulated figure, way more so than the actual older He-Man figures and even the Origins figure that just came out over the last year and a half. So The packaging's really nice. It's got really cool art. It's got a nice bio of He-Man on the back. It's just a really well done package, which is more collector centered, as you'll know, with all these super articulated higher end figures. Packaging is part of the collector item. So we'll go ahead and pause the video and take him out of the package and take a closer look at this guy. All right, guys. So the first thing I love about this figure, compared to other collector or collectible figures I've bought of equal price value, is the weapons in the figure were absolutely easy to get out of this package. The package just popped right out. Nothing was taped in. It was just there. You could pull it all out. I really respect that, because I really hate getting a figure and having to peel tape or cut tape with an X-Acto knife just to get all the accessories out. So kudos to Mattel for this. That was really well done on their part. The figure measures height-wise right at 7 inches, which is cool. Similar in size to the Classics line of He-Man figures. It comes with 2 accessories. It comes with his standard He-Man battle shield and the power sword. One thing absent from this set, which I was kind of surprised, is he didn't come with the battle axe that most of the He-Man figures always came with. So they would always come with a power sword and a battle axe. The original He-Man came with both those. Actually, the original He-Man came with half of a power sword that would be combined with Skeletor's sword to open Castle Grayskull and yada, 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 yada. If you're a He-Man fan, you know all that. He also came with 2 extra hands, which very indicative. It's got the 2 pegs, which are very consistent with all the other Mattel figures. You can probably interchange these with the Origins He-Man hands. That's really cool about Mattel. A lot of their stuff, like their WWE figures and their Masters of the Universe figures, are all somewhat interchangeable with one another. So there's a really good chance you can combine parts and make other custom figures, or use different hands to, if you want to do photo stories or stop motion animated stuff. But so this guy comes with obviously the shield, the sword, and 2 hands. The other cool thing about him, he's got the typical removable, I don't know what you'd even call this, harness that goes across his chest. He's got the fur loincloth. He's got this cool gauntlet that protects his left arm. And he's actually very articulated. He's got the 3-part joint on the knees, as well as the elbows. The arms are very posable. It's got the posable chest area here. Twists at the waist. The legs have articulation at the thighs. And the feet have the ball joint at the feet. He's articulated the legs. So he's got really good articulation, ball joint on the head as well. Now there's a couple things about this figure that are different than other He-Man figures. For the Revelation series, for some reason, they went with the H on the chest and not the old Iron Cross. I hope that's not because of woke culture. I don't really know. I just hope not. I just hope it's just something they thought would be kind of cool to do to make it a little bit different than other He-Man lines. But to be fair, the 2000X line by the 4 Horsemen, he didn't have the Iron Cross either. He had almost like a cross star. We'll talk about that later. But the figure is very robust. It just has really good articulation. It's a very solid figure. Well made. I could take this guy and let my 3-year-old son play with him, and I would not worry about him breaking this guy. A well-made figure. I'm really impressed with these figures. You can interchange the fists. Let's see here. Let's pull the fist out. It's just got that cool socket. I really like the fact that you can interchange all these. Let's see. Hold his sword like so. It's got the shield hand, which is also indicative of all your old Masters of the Universe figures. They had that karate hand for the shield. It's a great figure, actually. I'm actually glad I bought this one. Like I said, he has a battle cat. It's giant. I mean, it's freaking huge. I don't think I'll get that. I just wanted to have this figure to display on my work desk with the rest of my He-Man figures. Yeah, I like it. I think I would definitely recommend getting this figure. If you're a He-Man fan, I think this is worth having. It's a pretty rad figure. I just wish I had the battle axe. I really hope that maybe at some point in time, maybe they'll, if this line's successful, they'll come out with a weapons pack that maybe gives the battle axe for He-Man. So I do like the fact that you can pose these very well. I'm a big fan of the Origins line as well. I like the classic style He-Man figure, but yeah, it's a great figure. I really appreciate Mattel's attention to detail on this guy. Let's pause the video for a second, and I'll throw a couple He-Mans in there for comparison. All right, welcome back, guys. So here are all the He-Man figures I own. I do not have my original He-Man figure, sadly. My mom sold that in a garage sale back in the late 90s, I think, maybe mid-90s. But these are the ones that I do have, and we'll talk about these briefly. So here is the Masters of the Universe, I guess, 2000X series. Very cool. I really like this. Four Horsemen did the design. You can see what I was talking about with the iron. It doesn't have the iron cross, so I can't complain too much about the Revelations He-Man not having that. So I just think it's a designer's option in that case. But he came with a really cool power sword, shield, and a cool axe. So this He-Man actually came with a battle axe. Put him off to the side. Then we have the Masters of the Universe Classics He-Man, which, by the way, I did not get when first came out. For some reason, I just wasn't into the line, and I balked on it. Which, let me trust me, what I paid for this dude compared to what he retailed for, I should go outside and find a low-hanging limb and about 6 foot of rope, because I overpaid for him. But whatever. I wanted to have with this figure. So he came with a battle axe as well. I really love this version of He-Man. Masters of the Universe Classics toy lines is one of my favorite toy lines. I don't collect it. This is the only figure I have from it. But I really thought it was a great version of He-Man, and I really enjoyed the Super 7 figures as well. So, and he, of course, came with the one-piece power sword, like the Revelations figure, and a battle axe. And you can see the similarity in the shields. This, of course, is the Origins He-Man. This is version 1 with the brand new head sculpt. They're actually coming out with a new version which has the original He-Man head sculpt, which why they didn't release that in the first place, I have no idea. I love the Origins line of figures. I'm so stoked when I see these in retail. I wish they were more available. I've found almost all of them, but he has the two-piece power sword that goes with Skeletor's. So this is the one my son has. He plays with this guy sparingly. I hide the accessories because I don't trust him with those. Who knows what he'd do with them. Might stick him in a light socket. I don't know. Even though we have plug covers in all the light sockets. He's very crafty. And of course, you know, the Revelations He-Man, which I'm telling you right now, all four of these versions of He-Man are just amazing. And Mattel, I tell you, they do He-Man right. As far as the figures go, you know, they're constantly kicking butt on it. And I really appreciate that with Mattel. I think it's a very positive toy line. I've always thought He-Man was great, and this Revelations figure is is really, really cool. Now, one thing about this figure I want to add before we wrap this up is one thing I don't get. I do like the gauntlet or armor on the left arm. But I think it would be better served, and I don't know what you guys think, it would be better served on the right arm, though, because it kind of, what's the point of having double armor? If you got a shield and you've got this, there's really no point in that. But I also get the fact that if you lose the shield and you're in a fight, you have that protection like a shield when you're sword fighting. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just splitting hairs. But yeah, man, I'm really, really happy with this Masters of the Universe Revelations He-Man figure. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these guys. If you're a He-Man fan and you just want to have one to display on your desk, or you want to collect all the Revelations figures, they're $20 a piece, which is actually a really good price if you compare it to other figures of the similar scale. So I like it a lot. Can't complain about it. I know I'm saying I'm not going to get any more of these figures, but you guys know out there who've watched my channel enough that I have a tendency to get those things when I say I'm not going to get them. So, well, that's our review of this Masters of the Universe Revelations He-Man figure. Again, at the beginning, I was being pretty sarcastic. I hope you guys all got the sarcasm. I don't hate Kevin Smith. I just think he's lost his way, like a lot of the directors and people who are really creative in the 90s. They don't know how to navigate this new bizarre world that we hopefully aren't going to be living in much longer. But anyways, guys, like and subscribe to the page, share the videos. I look forward to your comments. Hit the notification icon. And until the next review, cheers.